So one phenomenon that I've been observing with a lot of students when helping them transition into jazz guitar is that they often lack a new guitar hero. A new guitar hero that will inspire and guide them to follow through when practicing the guitar all of a sudden gets a little tougher. An example that provides a measurable goal to strive towards and gives a clear vision of what is actually possible on the instrument. Now, you would be surprised how many guitar players that usually play rock, metal, or pop, and that also consider themselves as intermediate, actually leave their comfort zone by jumping into the improvisational world or trying to get to an advanced level. If that's not you, this video ain't for you, but if this sounds familiar to you, I might be able to help you out a little bit today. Now, do you remember your teenage years when you first discovered music? Think back to the time when you just developed your first own interest in a certain rock band or a particular song or the sound of a specific music. We all do have these personal musical memories, right? Back then you also developed a tendency on what you like and what you don't like, right? So bands that you adored and bands that you couldn't stand at all. And that decision came to you subconsciously, and only after some years later maybe you were able to describe in actual words why you did like this and didn't like that. So you developed a taste early on, a musical compass, and a personal musical filter. And that same process of liking something obviously applies when entering the territory of jazz and improvisation. So the cliche rock guitarist getting into jazz might get overwhelmed with impressions that are new to him. There are just too many unwritten rules and X factors when starting to listen to jazz. And although jazz might sound interesting to the rocker, the enjoyment and listening experience doesn't come as easy to him as it was during his teenage years, though. And not only for rockers, but also for a lot of other people, the experience of getting into jazz and improvisation can get very academic in the beginning. And one can get easily intimidated by the perceived sophistication of jazz music. And that is the reason why a lot of guitarists have that strange pressure of needing to like everything, because they can't decide and judge yet what their actual preferences in jazz are. Left and right, they're going to hear, man, you have to listen to this record, or there's no way around that artist. What, you don't know that scale yet? You have to learn this and that on YouTube, and the pressure grows and grows. And I've seen people almost lose their interest in pursuing improvisation and getting better on the guitar, because deep down they feel pressured that they have to like everything, just like a quote-unquote real jazz fan would do, right? A real jazz fan knows more than you and every scale under the sun, right? Now, get that out of your head. I assume that back in the day, you decided on your favorite bands by instinct and not by group pressure. You didn't feel any pressure of needing to like every band or subgenre of rock and metal. Some people love Metallica but hate Megadeth, and some people love Anthrax and Megadeth but don't like Metallica. Maybe you like the Beatles, but you don't like the Eagles. That's just the way it goes. A good and patient student wants to learn as much as possible, but sometimes weirdly starts to have too much respect in the beginning stages when getting into jazz. It is almost like attending your first semester at a new college or school, and you're highly motivated to start a new path. And you want to get the best grades in all classes, but you will soon discover that it will be just impossible to do everything. Now, please don't get me wrong, right? It is never bad to have too much respect for something in this world, especially if it's a new skill that you want to learn, right? But there's a huge dichotomy here that could potentially block your progress. Don't get intimidated by the perceived sophistication of jazz. Don't put everything on a pedestal just because you don't feel like understanding jazz yet. There's nothing wrong with not liking something instinctively when your musical compass doesn't resonate with something at all. Regardless if you understand the music intellectually or not. Jazz can appear like a very closed community in the beginning, but jazz doesn't mean jazz all the time, if that makes sense. The reality is that there are a lot of different kinds and subgenres to jazz, the same as in the rock world. From 70s rock, grunge, punk, rock and roll, thrash metal, and alternative rock, grindcore, I think you get the idea. The choices are seemingly endless, And the same obviously goes for the jazz world and its subgenres. So why do we need to find a new guitar hero? As I mentioned earlier, getting into jazz and improvisation can get very academic, which is why you should never lose that initial, almost childlike fascination with your instrument. To not lose this feeling, a new guitar hero will make sure to keep the fire alive inside of you, especially in the beginning stages when the learning curve is quite high. So let me get back one more time to your teenage years. Did you have a favorite guitarist back then? A guitar player that you admired so much that you decided to pick up the guitar or copy your first rock solo? Anybody coming from the rock, metal, or pop genre usually has one or two of these personal heroes that sparked the initial interest for a deeper study of the guitar. I mean, we all have them. It is time for you to find a new hero when getting into jazz. So when learning jazz, you will encounter a lot of non-guitar instruments like trumpets, saxophones, or the piano. And you will have to listen to and copy a lot of music that has different aesthetics and might lack that initial spark that you experienced as a teenager picking up your guitar. And that joy of playing power chords or your favorite riff with full distortion on, right? That feeling of just the you might not experience in the improvisational world. So as a guitarist coming from rock, you will feel that something is missing after a while, right? And the fuel and passion for learning something new will only last for so long. It's so subtle, I mean, you won't even recognize it. But I've seen enough people getting lost in their jazz practices and giving up because they hadn't picked their new jazz guitar hero yet. And that's the reason why it's crucial to have a pillar of strength at that moment, your personal favorite jazz guitarist that will be your port in the storm, so to say. So if you haven't done that yet, go ahead and find that new jazz guitarist that really, really resonates with you. Yeah, and then also, super important, stick with that guy or girl. Go ahead and check out all the greats from the past or present, but find that guitar player that you can listen to and think, yep, this is how it's done. Someone you can measure your progress to and also realize what can be done on the guitar. Find that one player that really ignites that fire in you as if you were just discovering your first rock guitar hero as a teenager. Do that before you start idolizing piano players or learning your first trumpet solo transcription on the guitar or something. Yeah, guitar comes first. That is super, super important for you as a guitar player. Okay guys, so thanks for watching, and I hope I was able to motivate you here a little bit today. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for the algorithms, and I'll see you in the next Guitar Real Talk video. If you are having trouble following the topics in this video, or you feel that you are missing some pieces to the puzzle to integrate all of this into your playing, then I would highly recommend that you check out my online courses. Sure, you can learn a lick on YouTube here and there and do some cobbling together, but if you don't have an understanding how all these pieces work together, then none of this will do or move the needle in your guitar playing, and everything will end up as a drop in the ocean. Don't be just a lifestyle guitar player who watches video after video for entertainment without ever getting anywhere. So treat your passion like a pro. At the end of the day, we all want to see real progress and know that we are on our path. And I will try my best to provide you with free content on here as much as possible. But if you are serious about evolving into a more advanced player, then I can't stress enough to you to join one of my online courses. I'll be with you every step of the way to help you finally unleash your full potential, and you can find the links in the description down below. Check out anrimaruyama.com to learn more about my online courses.